Well, here we go. We got like a rundown of like 7 films. Just gonna like breeze right through them. All right, I'm gonna talk about Miss Saigon, the 25th anniversary. This is a film production of the musical Miss Saigon for its 25th anniversary, performed at London's Prince Edward Theatre and London's West End. This is the poster here, or how it's promoted if you're looking for it on like, I don't know, a streaming service. I liked it. It is a musical and it is about the Vietnam War and a sort of love story between an American GI and a Vietnamese woman, and just the complexities and the complications that arise from their romance after like one night of intimacy. This is a pretty good story. I mean, I had like low expectations like going into this one, but I enjoyed it much more than I thought I would. And it is a musical, so like straight up, if you don't like musicals, don't watch it. If you don't like people singing 99% of the dialogue, do not watch this. Like this definitely has this audience, and I'm kind of one of them. I wouldn't watch it again because it's too long. I can't hear people sing for that long. But like just as a one time, like just experience it fresh for the first time. Yeah, it's pretty good. So I do recommend Miss Saigon. It's an interesting story, and compared to most Vietnam War content or mainstream content and media about the Vietnam War. This one explores like more about the Vietnamese characters in the war, the children who were fathered by soldiers who are left in Vietnam, and yeah, you see more of the consequences of the war from in terms of the Vietnamese who were sort of abandoned by the Americans when they left Vietnam. So it's just an interesting perspective. Whereas like most Vietnam War movies focus on the experiences of American soldiers, which is admirable. Like it's good. But it's nice to get just different perspectives of the war, especially in mainstream media, accessible media for mainstream audiences. I'm saying the word mainstream a lot. Okay, next film. Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. Yeah, so like I'm kind of surprised 99% of critics on Rotten Tomatoes gave this a good review. I liked it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. So the film is about, let's see, faced with an unintended pregnancy and a lack of local support, Autumn and her cousin Skylar travel across state lines to New York City on a fraught journey of friendship, bravery, and compassion. And it is PG-13 for sexual references, drinking, language, disturbing thematic content, whatever that means, mature thematic content. I don't know. There are weird ways to label why it's PG-13. But yeah, so basically, you see the experience of a young woman who wants to get an abortion but can't. So kind of like regardless of like how one would feel about abortion, it is interesting to like have a story or a movie about just the experience of what it's like for someone to get that kind of service where they can't get it where they're from, and what they're willing to do to get the service. You know. So I mean, yeah, just like one of those films where like at least for me as a man, like who doesn't think about abortion a lot, like um exploring demographics of society that I'm not really familiar with. So culturally for me at least, yeah, it was a eye-opening experience. Excuse me, Master and Commander, the Far Side of the Word, World, the third film I'll be reviewing real briefly. Yeah, it's PG-13 for. Okay, it doesn't say why, but basically, yeah, it's like a traditional. I say traditional, an exploration action thriller film, more of a mainstream, war film kind of. Let's see. So the premise is that oh god, this is long. In 1805, aboard the HMS Surprise, Captain Jack and his trusted friend, the ship's scholarly surgeon, Maturin, are ordered to hunt down and capture a powerful French vessel off the South American coast. Though Napoleon is winning the war and the men and the crew face an onslaught of obstacles, including their own internal battles, Lucky Jack is determined that nothing will stop the Surprise from completing its mission. Like in terms of sort of historical dramas and war dramas, especially about warfare at sea, this is like one of the best movies I've ever seen. Like the effects, um, the sets, and the acting, and the locations are really good, and the music is fine too. Yeah, I guess I don't remember the music honestly, but visually and like storytelling wise, character wise, this is a really good historical drama, especially if you like war films because it's kind of different than like a traditional one because it's on sea like the whole time or most of the time. I like water. Okay, so fourth film, How to Blow Up a Pipeline. This one came out last year and it's rated R. For language throughout and some drug use, and that's it. Okay, so the premise of this film is that a crew of young environmental activists execute a daring mission to sabotage an oil pipeline, and Daniel Goldhaber's hot and timely thriller that is part high stakes heist, part radical exploration of the climate crisis, and based on the controversial book by Andre's mom. Sorry, I'm gonna turn down the music a bit. I really like it, but I don't know if how it's gonna sound. Okay, so I like this one. This is like a suspense film, like from beginning to end. Like this crew of like young people who want to, yeah, like blow up a pipeline. And I did look up the production of this film on Wikipedia, and yeah, it is based on this controversial book that doesn't promote eco-terrorism because it kind of, even in the film, like the term terrorism is like a vague concept that is manipulated by different people. What defines like a terrorist or like a murderer or someone who like sabotages like society and like, but yeah, but this film brings up a lot of good, I think, ideas when it comes to like the dialogue around how to confront climate change and what are appropriate ways to do it. And obviously like blowing up a pipeline, what are extreme ways to do it. And I'm not here to like really encourage like people to blow up pipelines. The director of this film did state, at least on the Wikipedia page when I researched this film, that uh, he made this film with urgency, because yeah, climate change is a real thing, and a lot of people believe that humanity as a whole is too far behind when it comes to appropriately responding and confronting the climate crisis that the world's going through right now. And there is a message in the film where it says like it is self-defense for humanity to do these acts such as blowing up pipelines because nothing else is really being done to confront climate change, especially when it comes to the people in power who make policies regarding it. Yeah, but even regardless of like politics, this film is a really good thriller and suspense film from beginning to end. As I said, you're just following these guys trying to blow up this pipeline, and it's just a really simple premise, easy to follow story, good acting and characters. Like, yeah, I recommend it. All right, so next up, number five, Prey. Prey is part of the Predator series. I think it's the latest one that came out last year. The premise is that set in the Comanche Nation 300 years ago, Prey is the story of a young woman, Naru, a fierce and highly skilled warrior. She has been raised in the shadow of some of the most legendary hunters who roam the Great Plains. So when danger threatens her camp, she sets out to protect her people. The prey she stalks and ultimately confronts turns out to be a highly evolved alien predator with a technically advanced arsenal, resulting in a vicious and terrifying showdown between the two adversaries. I think when it comes to like the concept of prey and predator, like not just like in the Predator series, but like in terms of like what prey and predators are, this movie I think does a better job than the other predators in showing sort of like the hierarchy or like the food chain or like yeah, because there are other animals in this film that sort of represent like prey and predators in their ecosystem or whatever. Um, I lost my train of thought there. What was I gonna say? Oh, it's also a more, yeah, because of that, it's a more primal and like brutal and intimate film, I think, compared to the other Predator films. And of course, like it came out last year, so the effects are better than like the other ones. I would say this is, people really like the first Predator film. I like it too, but this is like, I don't know, for whatever reason, this is my favorite of the Predator series. So yeah, definitely recommend it. It is rated R. Sorry, throw it out there for strong bloody violence. So just prepare for that if you're planning on seeing this. Next up is Aliens, number 6, an older movie from 1986. Um, let's see. So Aliens, it's a sequel, but it's not like you have to really watch the first one to understand this one because they're two totally different movies, like tonally, different directors, different styles, different characters for the most part. Okay, so the premise: after floating in space for 57 years, Lieutenant Ripley's shuttle is found by a deep space salvage team. Upon arriving at LV-426, the Marines find only one survivor, a 9-year-old girl named Newt. But even these battle-hardened Marines with all the latest weaponry are no match for the hundreds of aliens that have invaded the colony. Yeah, so this is like a straight up action thriller movie. I just really liked it because I like the way the women are represented, sort of, especially the main character played by Sigourney Weaver. Um, oh, directed by James Cameron. He directed the Avatar movies, so I don't know. So it's a James Cameron film, so you're gonna get like, yeah, a lot of spectacle, action, female heroes. You know, that's like kind of his trademark in a sense. But Aliens is a really good action film. Even though it's old and kind of dated, I think it is better than like sort of a lot of other ones today. Just a bit more thoughtful, a bit more like visceral, and a bit more like urgent. And when it comes to like the situations the characters are in, I don't know. Okay, so it's pretty good. All right, so I just saw this one, Maggie's Plan, just recently, so it's a little fresh in my mind. This is a romantic comedy from 2015. The premise is that a woman, played by Greta Gerwig, who directed Barbie, by the way, falls in love with a married man, then devises a strategy to reunite him with his former wife 3 years later. The film is rated R for language and brief sexuality. It is, again, yeah, a romantic comedy. So I like this film because it's like a traditional rom-com, like from the 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, where, you know, it is the energy at least is like sort of like bright and happy, but the situations are much more complex and modern and more accessible. Like these are not perfect characters at all, and I don't know if they're like likable characters, um, excuse me, or like relatable characters that audience members might or viewers might be able to like latch on to. But it's just so fascinating watching these characters make the decisions they make and how they either try to undo them or fix them. And I found this a very entertaining and surprising romantic comedy. Um, because it's not like boy meets girl or girl meets boy and then happy ever after. No, this film does a great job of exploring the complexities of relationships, of breakups, reunifications, friendships. It's kind of more mature in that sense. And there are like situations in romantic comedy and like in romance and in comedy that I see in this movie, but not like in other ones. So it's a good, unique film. Yeah, pretty much all I got for now, guys. So until then, take it easy and peace.